The suspect is in custody, but the investigation into today's mass murder inside a Pittsburgh synagogue is really only just beginning. Bernard Zapor is a professor of the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice at Arizona State University. He's also a former special agent in charge of the ATF. Bernard, good evening.
Good evening.
All right. Now, I understand that in your experience in 2012, when you were with the ATF, there were 13 murders inside of a temple. Do you see anything, or did you learn anything from that you think needs to be applied in the investigation into the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh?
Yes, Judge. Of course, one of the big takeaways is just the bottomless depravity that we have as human beings against one another.
It's true.
And unfortunately, and it is demonstrated today, there is no ceiling to the goodness of people like these officers who put themselves at risk to save more members of this community. The takeaway from the Sikh temple massacre was that when you're in church, you're in your place of worship, your body's there, but your mind and spirit is elsewhere. That's that much more of a disadvantage, that much more of an advantage of somebody who would commit such an act, for somebody to have even that millisecond of a chance to gather themselves to perhaps run, hide, or fight.
And, you know, it's interesting, too, Bernard, because when you're in a church, I guess, or a temple or a synagogue or wherever, your back is to the door, isn't it?
Well, I think about the horrific Texas church shooting after Las Vegas massacre. With those poor people, they were in a box. They were facing forward. The shooter came in with his assault weapon and harvested innocent people. It's just catastrophic.
Well, you know, the president today said that, you know, had they had a security guard, it might not have been as bad as it was. And I mean, so where are we now? I mean, you know, you think that the murder of innocents over their religion or their ethnicity is something of the past, but it is not. And in today's, you know, highly charged rhetoric, whether it's part of it or the equation or not, I don't know. But these kind of things should have stopped a long time ago. What do we do now, Bernard? I mean, in your experience, what you've seen, what does the individual who's watching this show say to himself, you know, when I'm in the mall, when I'm in, you know, synagogue or church, or when I'm in my car at a red light?
I profess to everybody that I could even speak to, and I think this should be a standard for any place that holds meetings, that has employees, that has customers, that we must teach the run, hide, fight protocol. You may not be given the opportunity of one of these choices, but people that are familiar and had these seeds put into their brain of these options, they can survive. People have survived these events because they were able to take one of the choices given to them. There's a very short 4-minute video online called Run, Hide, Fight. It was a partnership with Homeland Security. Everybody should watch that. Everybody should show that to their children and be aware of it.
Bernard, if I don't see it, we don't have a lot of time. Run, hide, fight. Do you run away?
Run, hide, fight.
Yeah, but okay, where am I running to?
If you have the option, it comes to you, you escape. You could be hearing this activity preceding actually running into the gunman or the gun person. The hiding is two types. You're either hiding where you're concealing yourself, or you're barricading yourself into a room or an office where the person can't get in. And then the third is you never beg for your life, because this person is sociopathic. They do not hear your pleas. They don't care. You fight for your life and do whatever you can if you have that option of stopping them. Even with Run, Hide, Fight, people still die in these events.
Yeah.
But there are some that are preventable if we teach it. If we teach it through our communities in every level.
You know, you've got a lot of experience, Bernard. I mean, you know, you look at the Las Vegas shooting, I mean, the Wisconsin, the Temple shooting that you talk about, aside from what you did your whole career in ATF, where are you on the issue of guns? Should we have guns in schools and you know, I think every church, every adult place, but what do we do as a society, given the fact that you look at Chicago, that where guns are illegal, the only people who have them are the criminals? What do we do? What does your experience tell you?
My experiences tell me three things. One is we do not have a significant or effective mental health treatment in the United States for assessment and treatment of people with destructive, self-destructive tendencies. Secondly, there's almost 1 billion firearms in the United States. We have to deal with the fact that they're here, they're not going away. And thirdly, throwing somebody armed at a facility is not necessarily the answer unless we train people specifically to be solely a counter-assault person.
Right.
And that could be anybody. It does not have to be a law enforcement officer.
But they're
They
trainable.
could be trained specifically
Okay.
for the purposes of this.
All right. I got to take it back. Bernard Zapor, thanks so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate your expertise. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Judge.